Hello and welcome again to Time Travel Month here on the Bunny Perspective. This week we're tackling our very first top 10 list. I've steered clear of lists since I find them to be a little lazy on the part of the critic, even though they are popular. But after last week's explain heavy bitch fest, take a Nikon photo now, you fuck! I thought a list might be easier on both of us. That said, I love top 10 lists. The problem for me is how fickle I am. Generally, I steer clear of the old top 10 list chestnut, partially because I embrace new things and easily let go of old favorites, so I might not even agree with a list I make now 6 months in the future, and partly because they're lazy on behalf of me, the critic. But this is a very confined list because it's only about magical girl Madoka Magica. And I'm certain I won't change my mind anytime soon about this list. Clearly this episode is all spoilers, so if you want a great spoiler-free review, go check out Jesse Otaku's review over at thatguywiththeglasses.com. I think she sells that anime really well without spoilers, and I considered what she said before writing on this subject myself. She does a great job, so go over there and give her a few more views, then watch the series, then come back. Please? Is it just those who don't care about spoilers and those that know it took 4 timelines, but Hamaru finally nailed spelling her name like a badass? Cause this is the top 10 darkest moments of magical girl Madoka Magica!
All my friends are dead and they don't like me anymore. They moved along, they've changed and now they find me quite a bore. Way back then it was okay to be a little weird, but all my friends are dead and some have even grown a beard.
So this week we're discussing the darker concepts of Madoka Magica. This list was not made to trivialize the story, as I think Madoka is a damn near perfect anime. If Eva is a depressing and deep giant robot anime, and Elfen Lied is a gory and disturbing harem girl anime, then Madoka Magica is a tragic and dark magical girl anime. And it all works pretty perfectly. But before I go into the list proper, let me explain why this is a good time travel story. It is Time Travel Month after all. Similar to the movie Detention, the actual moving through time and space is hardly the main focus. But the plot is both tied tightly to one or more characters going back in time, and done well without being insulting to the audience. Unlike Butterfly Effect, Madoka doesn't change the rules to have a bullshit happy ending. Okay, enough of that. On to number 10. Number 10, Witches. Witches are the bad guys and have completely different animation and art direction from the rest of the show. You'd think that otherworldly monsters who cause people in our dimension to kill themselves or even be massive disasters would be the darkest part of this show, but they aren't. That doesn't mean they aren't completely disturbing. We of course find out during the series why this imagery is used, and it's pretty brilliant. Don't worry, I cover that down the list. The witches are just really great villains. Creatures that might be used as a monster of the week in a lesser show end up being pretty scary. After episode 3, we learn that these horrible things aren't just Power Ranger monsters to be taken lightly. Oh, and that thing that ends the world, which hangs over the character's head the entire series, it's a witch. And yet not the darkest thing in Madoka Magica. Number 9, Sayaka's Wish. Sayaka is a great character. I think she's supposed to remind us of the plucky underdog that so often ends up in this genre. Now, the way one becomes a magical girl is by making a wish, and depending on the wish, a magical girl gets different powers. Sayaka uses her wish to help a boy she is in love with. Her wish allows him to play the violin again, and he promptly starts dating another girl entirely.
上条京介くんのことお慕いしてましたの。
This is pretty low on the list because it's pretty darn predictable. Everyone knew it was gonna end badly for Sayaka, and it does. And later on, she goes crazy and stuff.
この世界って守る価値あるの？私何のために戦ってたの？教えてよ。今すぐあんたが教えてよ。でないと私。
No good deed goes unpunished. Number 8, the death of Sakura. Sakura dies fighting, and that's fine by her. From the first frame of her introduction, she is a feisty redhead who takes exactly no crap.
食い物を粗末にするんじゃねえ。
She dies in the main story battling. Well, basically herself. It doesn't come out of left field like some of the other moments, but it is sad to see her go. Not much else to say that won't be covered later. What's more depressing than Sakura's death? Number 7, Sakura's backstory.
翌朝には親父の教会は押しかける人でごった返していた。
Like Sayaka, Sakura used her wish for someone else, her father. And like Sayaka, it goes terribly wrong. The difference? Sakura helps her dad create a cult?
毎日おっかなくなるほどの勢いで信者は増えていった。私は私で晴れて魔法少女の仲間入りさ。
Her wish is to make others believe her dad's crazy new religion. Her wish brainwashes people en masse! When her father figures out all of her followers were just drawn to him by Sakura's magic, he kills himself, his parish, and her sister in a fucking fire!
道連れに無理心中さ。私一人を置き去りにしてね。
She indirectly kills a lot of people! No good deed goes unpunished. Sadly, her story is told to us rather than shown. If they had a few more episodes, it would have been great to see her early origins. At least the paper puppet animation style goes along with the exposition, and it's done well and very creepy.
親父は間違ったことなんて言ってなかった。ただ、人と違うことを話しただけだ。
Number 6, Hamura's doomed loop. Kyubei would know about cosmic inevitability.
騙すという行為自体、僕たちには理。
He explains to Madoka once he figures out Hamura is a time traveler that no matter how badly things go, she will never stop. And it's true!
彼女がまだ希望を求めているからさ。いざとなれば、この時間軸もまた無意にして、ホムラは戦い続けるだろう。何度でも証拠りもなく、この無意味な連鎖を繰り返すんだろうね。
We see her try 4 different timelines in an effort to get what she wants.
私ね、未来から来たんだよ。何度も何度もマドカと出会って、それと同じ回数だけ。
Now, it might be true, she might not have survived the last timeline at all if Madoka didn't make her wish and end the loop right there. But I have a hard damn time believing that even death would stop poor Hamaru. Her endless dedication is rewarded though, sort of.
だから嬉しいよ。ホムラちゃん、ありがとう。
Even though, like all wishes, Hamura's is doomed from the start, she does get the best possible outcome. Number 5, the history of magical girls. Magical girls existed throughout time, and without their sacrifice, and sacrifice is the correct word here, developments of mankind might not have ever happened.
あなたたちがこの星に来てなかったら。君たちは今でも裸でホラー穴に住んでたんじゃないかな。
I like it when a story as big as this remembers to include the past. It gives the tale roots. I suppose you could count Madoka's little trip as time travel as well, in a Dickens sort of way. These are but ghosts of the magical girls who have been. The idea that this practice of young girls battling witches is central to human development is pretty distressing. It must have seemed like a great motivator to Kyubei to get Madoka to make her wish, but in the end she just cries. Number 4, Kyubei and the energy of the universe. Kyubei looks like a cute little pocket monster, but has more in common with Cthulhu than Pikachu.
懲りないんだな、君も。代わりはいくらでもあるけど、無意味に潰されるのは困るんだよね。
Apparently, the wishes made by girls give power to the universe.
エントロピーを覆す エネルギー源足りうるんだよ。
What is dark about this is more the realization that the universe just doesn't care about us. It just wants energy.
それを回収するのが僕たちインキュベーターの役割だ。
You can't really argue with Kyubey, he is kinda right.
君たち人類だっていずれはこの星を離れて僕たちの仲間入りをするだろう。その時になって枯れ果てた宇宙を引き渡されても困るよね。
We're little nothings compared to the rest of existence, and if a few little girls are sacrificed so that the rest of the universe doesn't go dark, then so be it. Well, at least Kyubey thinks so. The most chilling part of Kyubey is his lack of emotion. He says where he's from, emotion is sort of a mental illness.
僕たちの文明では感情という現象は極めて稀な精神疾患でしかなかった。
This alien thinking is what makes him so dangerous. He isn't the devil, he's a salesman.
長い目で見ればこれは君たちにとっても得になる取引のはずだよ。バカ言わないで。
He needs energy, and getting these kids to become magical girls gets him that energy. More on that later. Number 3, The Death of Mammy. Episode 3. This is the episode that changes everything. What was once a cute anime with very effective monsters turns into a horror show.
じゃあこうしましょう。この魔女をやっつけるまでに願い事が決まらなかったら、その時はキューベイにごちそうとケーキを頼みましょう。ケーキ?
Mammy battles a witch, easily blasting its minions and all the while truly happy that she will no longer be alone.
私一人ぼっちじゃないもん。
And then this happens. It bites her fucking head off and then devours the rest! Even Hamaru seems shocked at this turn of events. This moment teaches us not to take the witches lightly, and it assures us that Kyubey is hiding something. Mammy was also the most calm, rational, and capable magical girl Madoka meets. In other timelines, they're best friends. If someone cool-headed, talented, and smart can get their fucking head bitten off, what's to say a normal girl like Madoka won't find a similar fate?
私ってどんくさいし、何の取り柄もないし。
Which is the question the audience has left to ponder throughout the series. Number 2. Sayaka becoming a witch. This ties into number 1 a lot. In every timeline, Sayaka becoming a witch changes how the girl sees themselves and everything else.
さやかに何しやがった！さやかちゃんやめて！お願い思い出して！
Witches are the perversions of the soul gems, which the girls use for their magical powers. It makes a lot more sense when you see the grief seed and soul gems next to each other. We learn all too well what the previous imagery used during the witches' battles means now. Sayaka's witch is a grand, monstrous conductor. At the center is the boy she loves, and surrounding her is an orchestra of specters. We see Madoka and Sakura desperately pleading with Sayaka, learning how truly lost she is.
あんた信じてるって言ってたじゃないか。この力で人を幸せにできるって。
And in the end, Sakura kills herself and Sayaka in one of the more melancholy moments. We learn with the girls that the powerful emotion that brings the wondrous magical feats is corrupted once the soul gem is spent.
私ってほんとバカ。
There's a lesson about the power of emotions and how they can be bright, wonderful things, and they can be dreary misery. And then there's number 1. Number 1. The process and nature of magical girls. Magical girls are not human beings. In a lot of ways, they're dead.
だって私もう死んでるんだもん。ゾンビだもん。こんな体で抱きしめてなんて言えない。
We learn this along with Sakura, Madoka, and Sayaka during the main timeline.
さやかちゃんごめん。
Sayaka dies.
まだかあんたなんてことだってこうしないと。さやかちゃん。
It's not until Hamaru retrieves it that Sayaka is returned to life. See, the trade for the wish and the magical powers is your fucking soul.
まどか、そっちはさやかじゃなくてただの抜け殻なんだって。ただの人間と同じ壊れやすい体のままで魔女と戦ってくれなんてとてもお願いできないよ。
You know that energy that Kyubey collects from the creation of a magical girl? Well, he makes 10 times that when they finally become a witch.
彼女は最強の魔法少女として最大の敵を倒してしまったんだ。もちろんあとは最悪の魔女になるしかない。今のまどかならおそらく10日かそこいらでこの星を壊滅させてしまうんじゃないかな。
Magical girls fight witches until their souls are too tainted to function, and then they become a witch for some other poor sap to kill.
あんまりだよ。ひどすぎるよ。
In one of the timelines, once Mammy learns this, she goes insane. She kills Sakura and is about to do the same to Hamaru.
ともえさんソウルジェムが魔女を生むならみんな死ぬしかないじゃない。あなたも私もやめて。
These girls are best friends. Mommy is the cool-headed one. And the truth is, Mammy might be the most selfless for killing these girls. Another person might just let them become witches to sustain their own life. But she is right. The only way to stop it is to destroy their own souls. Suicide. And what's darker than that? Even if they did kill themselves, who knows how many other magical girls are out there? Kinda bleak, huh? And that's my list. I hope you enjoyed my deconstruction of this really great series, even if it wasn't super funny. Most reviews of this series note it's dark and sad, which it certainly is. Unlike Eva, where the goal is overcoming sadness, Madoka is about finding happiness in the darkest of places, and the power of emotions. I think the ending is truly heartwarming and worth all the sadness that led up to it.
なんか手間かけさせちゃったね。こっちこそごめん。
If somehow you watch this entire episode and not Madoka Magica yet, go watch it. It's on Hulu now and available on DVD and Blu-ray. The Japanese cast is flawless, and I wouldn't watch it any other way, personally. Next week is Detention, so cheer up, you guys! You know what's interesting to me? The intro shows Madoka crying as a magical girl. From the first episode on, we have this remarkable bit of foreshadowing.
交わした約束忘れないよ目を閉じてしかめる押し寄せた闇振り払って進むよ
I like it in episode 10 when they use the intro as an outro, indicating that it all happened before the timeline we're currently watching. In the end, Madoka makes a hell of a wish. The wish changes reality so much that Madoka never existed. And she basically becomes a god. And she is, in a lot of ways, a Christ figure for magical girls. 君が言うように宇宙のルールが書き換えられてしまったのだとすれば、今の僕らにそれを確かめる手段なんてないわけだし。Of course, her act really doesn't change anything.
決して忘れたりしない。だから私は。
Madoka is the last time travel element, and the world that she alters is a little more bright than the world she left behind. I consider the ending positive, if it's not entirely happy. Overall, it really is one of the best series I've ever seen, anime or otherwise.
あなたは私の最高の友達だったんだね。
Bovine.